Oh my God, there are so many people here. Hello. Can you guys hear me okay? Hang on, I gotta put some mascara on real quick. Let's see. Um, all right. Sky is going to be my mod tonight. Sky is one of my best friends of all time. Knows more about Brian than anyone ever. And is going to keep you guys from being too much. Let's see here. Let's see. I have to admit also I watch first off, you don't have to actually keep up with my videos, but that's where the big dog thing came from. I have to admit also I watch a lot of Abby's video. Yeah, you her name is Abby. I'm trying to keep up with both of y'all. You're fine. Abby is actually on top of her shit and uploads every week, so good for her. I do not, obviously. Um let's see. I can stay up. My usual streamer is foying it tomorrow and I'm just kidding, Joe. Um Hello. I don't know how late I'm gonna be on, but probably a little bit longer than I should be. TJR, I don't know who that is. True crime series, Rotten Mango. I like Rotten Mango. I like Stephanie Sue. I love the way she reads. She's so like emotive. Paul would want. Please tell me that won't happen with Paul. That was always my favorite live album. Okay, wait a second. Hang on. They are using AI to fix John Lennon's vocal pitch on Live One on New York City. This worries me. I hope they never touch Paul McCartney's 1976 live album, Wings Over America. So, Derek, you're talking about pitch control. So, AI in the way of pitch control, that's not that different from autotune. So, which is something that the Beatles did. I mean, they they would do all kinds of little production slubs, just not the same thing, the same tools that they use now. So I guess it just depends on where you are in the purist argument of things, which is like fair. But I don't know if Paul would want to use AI or not. I personally would love for them to not use any generative AI, but I'm not going to tell someone to not use good tools. Um, though I will say, like, coming from me, this is it's kind of stupid, I think, probably, but I don't, there's lots of AI, productive, all kinds of stuff that, like, my editing software allows that I do not use. I'm just like even the beepity beep beep stuff. I could have it like auto select. I don't because I'm like, I'm good. I don't know if this like would come off as shocking to everyone, but I'm a control freak. So I like it to be exactly the way I want it to be. And the only AI thing I use is an auto transcribe so I can go and look, but even then that's kind of a slow tool. So okay, let's see. Hi Lars, you are awesome. Hi Joe. Ringo's left drumstick. Hello. Lo-fi and chill. What's up? I just wanted to say good morning to everyone to everyone from Germany. Hello. Guten Morgen. Guten Morgen. Guten Morgen. Jesus Christ, it's been so long. Typo. Oh, you're good. I miss Brian too. Ringo's left drumstick. Paul even used autotune for Long and Winding Road on the Let It Be Naked album. Yeah. Do you use Final Cut Pro? I do not. I use Premiere Pro. Um, I learned on Premiere Pro in college because I've got a I could say a double major or like 2 bachelor degrees, but that's not true technically, but I could say it and like be sneaky, but it's actually called a dual major in news journalism and telecommunications. So, I I learned and you could basically depending on the way you chose your classes, you could pick, and I picked Premiere Pro. Um, Paul sang a little key on Studio on Band on the Run version of Bluebird, but on WOA, the vocals are perfect. Off key. Sometimes I feel I should have started with Premiere, haha. Final Cut is definitely a pain, but very robust. I wish that I could get my shit together and learn on DaVinci. And Sky warned me. Sky was like, "You're not gonna like the layout." And I was like, "I'm smart and cool." That's probably exactly what I said to them. And Sky was like, "Uh-huh." So I tried because DaVinci Resolve is free and Premiere is not. Um, and that's the one thing that is actually hard to procure as far as like getting permissions, dealing with keys and all kinds of stuff. And I just I couldn't figure out DaVinci. And honestly, like, here's the thing, I could get with some free editing software, but and like take my time. But you guys, I don't have enough time to slow down. So, and since Patreon actually like pays for it, covers the cost of Premiere Pro. So it's, but yeah. And I mean, when my partner was still in school, we had like Patreon. No, well, I do, but no, we had like Photoshop and stuff, but I don't use it anymore. So I just use apps on my phone. Um, let's see. I downloaded DaVinci, opened it once, and never opened it again. Oh, that's so real. But yeah, no, I have no problem with people using. I feel like, see, I feel like I really shouldn't be talking about like tool musical tools because you guys are the musicians. Like, there's literal actual full-blown smart musician people in this chat. What do you guys feel about pitch correction, using AI for pitch correction, for um in the past pitch correction? Because let me be clear, and I'm so sorry, Derek, because I know that this is gonna make you sad. Um this John would be totally down for anything that would make him vocally sound better. John Lennon hated his voice. We all know this. And John was like, I mean, he said stuff like, pour some milk on it and all kinds of weird shit to George Martin, like anything to make it sound like not me, which is crazy because John's voice sounds amazing, in my opinion. And even, early vocals, later vocals, love John's voice, always loved John's voice. But I don't really I don't really see that against John's legacy, though. I think, let's see, I know McCartney too was a full of pitch correction, but it worked on that album. Well, like, I don't I mean, everybody uses pitch correction. It's like, I mean, I guess it's like, it's not even dissimilar to wearing makeup or um like, I mean, I edit every single breath out of my videos for the most part, not every single one of them, but for a long time I did edit every single one of my like the Lost video, every single breath. Like those kinds of things, the sonically annoying things, like those things, we can edit that out and that changes things, doesn't it? But is it bad? Okay. It's unfortunate that the Lennon estate felt the need to pitch correct for the concert because he sounded incredible. I do feel okay. So Marcus has a good point here. The fact that it's a concert, I feel like it changes it a little bit, but I understand. So the thing that I was thinking about with Beatles in corrections was All You Need Is Love, because they couldn't, hang on guys. I'm holding my mirror, just like holding it up. This Lars land is full of shame, right? It's just a land of shame, I gotta tell you. Okay. Just like, it's just a fucking wreck over here. And no, I don't usually put on that much mascara, but I was just talking. So I just kept putting just kept putting it on. And it looks good, so we're good. Okay. So a concert, I feel kind of like we don't need to perfect a concert, right? Like the little imperfections of a concert is kind of what makes it fun, right? Um like I hope that we don't have any hardcore Swifties in the chat. No shade, because I really liked a lot of Taylor Swift stuff for a really long time. But there's a video, and it's kind of a uh rare Lars excursion, but somebody probably knows who this person was. But this video was like, this is Taylor Swift doesn't sing live, and she sings or lip syncs over live tracks that she has, and was showing exactly why this one, even though there are performances I think that she does, like certain songs that she does and that she doesn't, just to, keep it real. But I think those imperfections kind of make it awesome. There are certain, like Billie Eilish, I love Billie Eilish, and there are certain, like, live sets that I prefer. Let's see here. As a musician, my thought is if it assists in creating the piece that as the artist wants it to be heard, then it should be fair game as long as it isn't actively ripping off other stuff on purpose, Slasher Mini Film says. Slasher, I like your take here. Someone said that the correction takes the attitude out of John's live vocals. There's still attitude in the pitch corrected version, but it was dripping with attitude in the untouched version. I do feel like a live show should be able to be raw. Okay, back to the all you need is love thing. So they had to go back, and George like flubbed a couple notes, and George Martin was like, "Hey, is okay, I'll answer that in a second." George Martin was like, "Hey, we can just like fix this with just a little bit of production studio magic." And GH was like, "No, I'm going to re-record it." So he re-recorded it. And I think that there was like something with John's vocals. I did a video on this, so you can go watch my video on it. But John fixed something with his vocals too. So there would have been studio magic. Hi Brian. Um there would have been studio magic if the boys weren't just like, we gotta go like redo it because we're obsessive, you know. So that's one specific thing, but it doesn't really take away from the live vibe, and I think that has a lot to do with Paul's little ad libs at the end. But the Beatles in general sound pretty good live when they can hear themselves. So, but not always. Okay. As far as Swift is concerned, let's just say I replace her with Baby Metal. I love Baby Metal, the music by Baby Metal that I know. I'm tossing on some blush, don't judge me. Okay. So as far as Paul using AI, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know very much at all about Paul's work with solo stuff, like solo production. I know that he works with Jeff, or did work with Jeff, I mean, Emmerich for a long time, but I don't know how he works, and I don't know anything about his like re-releases. I cannot emphasize enough that I do. Okay. What I should walk to. Okay. I asked you what I should walk to on your last stream, and you said Abbey Road, you're welcome. It was a great walk, and I realized how much I love that album. It had been a minute since I heard it. Yeah, it's a very, very good walking album. Love Baby Metal. Okay, Poppy. Poppy is one of my favorite artists, like top 10. I love her so much, and I've loved her for years and years, especially since the metal era, to be exact. Okay. AI depends on the context, in my opinion. Youngblood, that is exactly what we were kind of saying. I can Hi, I'm Poppy. I remember when she was a meme as well. Gimme Chocolate is on Fortnite now. I've never played Fortnite, which I know it shouldn't be that shocking. I'm not a good gamer. I love watching games. Um, I was I was never really a very good gamer growing up, but my brother's pretty good. And so I would just sit there and watch him play and play and play and play. But I'm like a pretty casual gamer now. But once I got into Elder Scrolls, I was like, okay, I'm okay, but I'm not good. So not the kind of competitive gamer. Okay, so we've got 23 people here. Suffocate. Oh my God. Listening to something while the sun was shining bright as hell was definitely an experience. I got back home right when Here Comes the Sun ended and listened to the rest when I got home. Oh my god. What a good walk. Pitch correction is globalization. Well, so when are how far back are you going to set that standard though? Because pitch correction has been a thing for as long as digital tools in any way, shape, or form have existed. So pitch correction has been a thing since before the Beatles. So like, I mean, globalization has been a thing since before the Beatles. I mean, it was just a slow globalization. So like, where are we setting that standard? You guys talking about the whole pitch correction thing on the one-to-one come together. I don't know what the one-to-one come together. Is one-to-one a podcast? I don't know who these people are. I get asked about stuff and I'm like, I think that's a I used Imagine Baby Metal and McCartney doing Helter Skelter Revisited. That would be amazing. And Paul probably has listened to Baby Metal because Paul stays on top of it. Oh my god. One to one. Oh, duh. One to one is the name of the Lennon concert. My god. Yeah, duh. Oh my god. Sorry, guys. There's there's so many things for me to keep track of right now that I get I'm like, I swear to God, I do know some of my stuff, but when it comes to solo stuff, it's like I'm like, you guys are not asking the right person. Okay. It's that show that they're remastering for Power. Okay. So I never saw one to one. I didn't see I saw one hand clapping, but one to one and the other one did not come near where I live. I don't know. I feel like it's just hard. It's hard because I feel like if I grew up listening to something specifically a lot, then I would be upset with pitch correction. But then here, sitting here in my land where like would it look better if the light's on? Does that look better? No, it doesn't. It looks weird. Um Sitting here in like my land doing nothing with greasy hair and talking to you guys, I'm like, oh, it's fine, you know. But if somebody went and like cleared up a couple of like the indie albums that I really enjoy, I think I would feel kind of little spicy about that. Though I am feeling spicy tonight anyway. The entire Restored concert of One to One is coming out next year. We are getting just the audio this year. Okay. Okay. Cool. I really do not keep up with the I don't keep up with the Lennon estate very much at all. I feel like they're always doing stuff and it's hard to keep up with them. And it's just like, it just feels like there's kind of a deluge of information coming from the Lennon estate, whether it be like Newtopia or this or that or this or that. And so I feel like I would be way more relevant if I kept up with that shit. Like it's so true. I would have more subs and I would be like better, but I don't, if I were like more newsy, but there's plenty of people who do like Beatle news and like Skylar Moody does weekly Beatle news and all kinds of influencers do. So go to them, I guess, because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Um, in terms of editing songs, on the remix of Pink Floyd's A Momentary Lapse of Reason, they replaced the studio vocal on the song On the Turning Away with an inferior live vocal, and it ruins the song. Okay. Yeah, that is kind of the risk. But then again, like, if they did it, then they didn't think it ruined the song, so that's tough. Depends on the vibe, in my opinion. Like, if that song is very polished or, like, made for radio, kinda the song, you know what I mean, then I get it. If something was meant to sound like that, then keep it. Yeah. I mean, it really depends on how you're feeling about a tattered edge type situation. Hang on, I have this app called How We Feel, and it has me check in about how I'm feeling, like, 4 times a day. So to right now, I am feeling enthusiastic and greasy-haired. All right. I'm gonna check Instagram because I posted to see if anyone had any things that they wanted me to talk about, but nope. I'm not very popular on Instagram. So meshing up live versions with studio versions is mostly not a great idea. Yeah, probably. I mean, I'm really like so I guess that if it would sound weird, right? Oh, it sucks. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, guys. That song is a favorite too. Okay. Oh, the other song is the Pink Floyd song? Okay. So, let's let's take a second to talk about Brian Epstein because I don't know anything about pitch correction. So today is how many years without Brian math? What is it? 58? Sky? And I do love the fact that the Lennon estate is keeping up with the album box sets. The Harrison estate kicks and screams to release product, and Ringo hasn't engaged in it. Ringo, but see, that's Ringo being Ringo. Maybe the market isn't there for Ringo. I don't know about that. So, um, but and I think the Harrison estate generally stays true to George. So I'm good with that. Um, I think that that's Ringo being Ringo, but I think that there is definitely I think that I would if I'm gonna buy singles like reissues of stuff, it would probably be from Ringo. Dark Horse's record store day pictures discs are badass. They've done the first 3 Harrison albums so far. I mean, I don't know. I respect the Harrison estate a lot, but that is like the Willy Wonka, um, the factory, like, no one goes in, no one goes out. It's a very tightly kept operation. George makes the best box sets. The estate takes their time on everything. Okay, I'll shut up about solo stuff. Brian, I appreciate what you're saying. So let's talk about Brian. Other Brian, not you, Brian. I mean, we can talk about Brian, but I have a hard time when we're talking about Brian Epstein. If anything, because people get real pissy that I pronounce his name properly now. They're like, it's Epstein. And I'm like, well, technically it's Epstein, but he said it both ways. So I highly doubt he would give a shit either way. And, half the Beatles say Epstein and John says Epstein. So whatever. But one thing I was talking to one of my friends earlier, and this is like literally the reason I came on tonight was like, one of my friends said something like, I wonder what it would be like to have Brian here, or have him in the 70s, like what he would do as a fashion icon and like as a person. And I said, it's hard for me to think about that or like even imagine that because one thing that is not really talked about as much as it should be is that um Anthony, so Frida Kelly just called him Epi in the documentary. That's fine. I feel like Epi is a nickname for the people who knew him, and I feel weird saying it, using it. I feel like it's weird. So, anyway, I'm like, I don't think I have a hard time imagining that because beyond suicidality of Brian is that Brian was extremely unhealthy at the end. Like after years and years of drug use, alcohol use, um, so many medications, up and down, and a horrible mental health understanding. Like, so if Brian were taking the medications that he were prescribed the way that they were prescribed and not drank, it would have killed him quicker. Thank you. Okay, side note. So Sky Diamondon is one of my best friends of all time, by the way, just to reiterate. And like the Brian person. I cannot state this enough. I don't think anyone knows as much about Brian as Sky does, and that includes authors, scholars, anyone. Mark Lewison. I don't have a Lou count up right now, but I can make a Lou count. I'm not afraid of making a Lou count mid-live. Okay. Whatever. So, um, yeah, I think it would be kind of like just got here. Has anyone said Brianing my Epstein yet? Not yet, but now, but Chivino has. So just up here, Epsteining my Brian. Um, so Brian was so sick, and he had been using. I mean, remember he was a few years older than the Beatles, but things started getting really tough early for him, and he was already struggling, but and he had been struggling with suicidality and poor habits and feelings for since his mid-teen years. So by the time we're looking at like 66, 67, he still would not be I really truly do not believe that he would have made it past 1970. Like if he sobered up according to what medical advice would have been, he would not have been very sober. That's one thing. His medication list, I believe, was about a dozen things that were all incredibly terrifying. Hey Sky, if you want to drop the list, like if you want to just mention what all we have, what all we know, um that's up to you, by the way, Sky, you don't have to. But um it was insane, like an insane amount of things that was someone who was already dealing with like essentially organ failure. Um like I don't think he was going to make it for very it's just there's only so much that your body can handle on top of so much traveling. Like that is something I think we don't talk about very much. It seemed when the Beatles stopped touring, Brian felt useless. I think that was I mean, I think it was already too far gone by that point. Like, I don't even know if he had like how do I say what I wanna say, Sky? I don't think it I don't even think it's that, like, oh. I think it was already the trajectory was already there if they had kept touring or not. And a lot of that, um, it was around a dozen, including this is medications for Brian. It was around a dozen, including barbiturates, bromide, amitriptylines, antidepressants, and various combinations of 60 psych meds that are mostly banned nowadays. Thank you, Sky. So this, I mean, a list of medications that were up and down, and like very, you look at him now and you're like, Jesus Christ. Did they do an autopsy on Brian? Sky? I do not know the answer to that. George and Ringo felt useless during the Pepper sessions. Imagine how Brian felt. Brian had a life outside of just the Beatles. Remember that. Um, have you heard the Murray the K radio interview from January 1967 several times? That actually misedited. It was poorly edited on my part, but it made it in the Midas Man video, but I messed it up. They did do an autopsy. Part of it was publicized in Ray Coleman's biography. I have not read the entirety of Ray Coleman's biography on Brian, but the parts I have read are great. Iconic. I asked ChatGPT where the Cray twins were at the time Brian died. It said they were operating in London, free men operating their criminal empire. Che, adore you, love you. Do not use ChatGPT as a search engine. It's horrible for the environment and has no um, reasons or restrictions into being accurate on purpose. Don't do it. It's not reliable, and it's so bad for the environment, and it makes us lazy. Work, you can do it. I believe in you. You have the ability and the intellectual wherewithal to do your own engine search. Okay. I feel Brian's death was an accident. Time Lord guy. I don't think it matters. I also generally think it was an accident, but I don't think it matters. Um, because we were dealing with someone who was so extremely depressed. He left, he was institutionalized. I don't remember the name off the top of my head. He left early. He wasn't supposed to be home yet. Um, I just looking at timing of when he came home, the plans that he had made, I don't think that it was on purpose, but I don't know, like, if it matters either way. Um, if you have ever dealt with someone, let's see. I think this is from Sky. I think the official verdict was also that it was accidental via bromide poisoning. That being said, it was a complicated situation. So I think if you've ever been around someone who um is like intending to die, intending to end their life, it's like a matter of throwing the dice. Like when I was getting this is like so personal, but I've mentioned it before. When I was getting sober, I have attempted suicide a dozen times, like 11 times. And when I was trying to get sober, it was like suicide attempt, suicide attempt, suicide attempt, suicide attempt. Like, so it was like, well, I'm gonna make it out of this one and I'm just gonna try again, like, and essentially it's like a joke, but I was like, man, I really suck at trying to die. I should probably try to live now, it was like very much I'm really sucking at this, so I'm gonna try it the other way, I guess. Very reticently. But I think when you're dealing with someone in your life that is actively trying to die, um, and, like, going through that, it's like, does it matter? Because that was their mindset, you know what I mean? So, I'm with the big, speculation around that, we already know where Brian was emotionally, and it doesn't change how much he was suffering, you know what I mean? It is tragic. So, it's like, does it matter if this was a successful time or if it wasn't? Um, like, it was just end of the real verdict on that is that it was tragic, no matter what. I wonder. Okay. Okay. It's the Arena documentary, right, Sky? Okay. I wonder. Okay, wait, I gotta read what Jeremy Jones was saying. Okay. I just happened to read the chapter about Brian and dreaming the Beatles. It says an overdose was not a large quantity of pills all at once, but over the course of a few years. Yeah, I mean, so overdose can be a couple of things. It can be a one-time thing, but also the act of continuously beating down someone's nervous system or their organ function from consistently I mean, it's not dissimilar to think about diabetes or cholesterol, you know, um, eating yourself into or genetically, whatever, a heart condition. It's over the course of you know years, years and years and years of suddenly you've got fatty liver disease. You drank yourself there. It wasn't a one time thing. So that's one aspect there. But I think that that's probably the best way to describe his actual death, because I think it would have been hard for him to stay alive, like, physically. At that point, he was in such bad shape health-wise. Okay. I'd like to remind everyone that the man managed other musical acts, not just the Beatles. Brian is coming out here for Brian. Yes, let's say, because I keep saying this, I know Brian was really depressed when the Beatles didn't need him as much. Brian was not only the Beatles manager and not only a music act manager. Brian had several roles, managed several businesses, did several things, had a full life. Brian was extremely depressed and had a lot of issues with or without the Beatles touring. Like, was he concerned? Yeah, yeah, he was concerned. But if to act like or put so much emphasis on the Beatles stopping touring to the point where that's when it started getting bad, that is so that is like place where to do that is to place too much emphasis on the Beatles and not enough like we are. Oh, I'm so pissed. Okay, so, like, just in general, not just at my people here, because there's 28 people and I love all of you so much. But, like, I get so mad about this because Brian is so woefully misunderstood, underdocumented, underexplored, and he just exists as the Beatles person. Like, he's just the Beatles person, but he was struggling actively, openly, according to letters to his parents, diaries, his school records. He was struggling with this shit so much in his teenage years. Like, this guy was actively ongoing, like, lifelong, very depressed, always dealing with an imposter syndrome situation, always um, very much, like, questioning his worth, always felt unneeded. This is not a one Beatle thing. The Beatles, like, let's sincerely in the one case in which we can say, "Don't give the Beatles that much power, they didn't have that much," because Brian was that way before he met the Beatles. So, like, I really, really hate that. Okay, let's see. Thank you for all the nice words about me still being alive, I appreciate that. Um, George Martin produced other acts than the Beatles. Yeah, but we're not talking about George right now. We don't need to talk about George Martin, we're talking about Brian. Okay. Let's see. I wonder where all the murder rumors came from. And I never heard any of that until the 80s. Sky, are you still here, babe? Because I'm not sure about the actual origin of the murder rumors, but I have to say, the BBC put out a documentary called Arena, and it is about Brian. And okay, do you know where? Okay, Sky's here. Do you know about where the murder thing, like when it started, the origin? Who did what messy bitch did that? Okay, so Arena, this documentary, it has it has Peter Brown in there, like, as in Peter Brown, the Apple director, his right-hand man, and the infamous The Love You Make co-author with Stephen Gaines. He's in there, and he is practically like, they have, like, hardcore crime type editing of this documentary is crazy. Like, the lighting is weird. They have, like, crime sting sounds, and he's, like, sitting there, and he's riding in this limo, and the lights are all, like, very insane, intense angles, and it's like, Peter Brown thinks about Brian. It's, like, crazy shit, and it's just all but saying that they're like, "He's a killer." It's like, dude, oh my god. I wonder if Judaism formed his character, what his beliefs were. As far as I mean, as far as I know, I think I'm actually gonna let Sky answer that. Sky, can you answer that? Um Let's see. The Paul is dead thing was bollocks. Anything that started up in that time, it was the fucking 60s. Okay. Um, the original rumors began in the 80s, but I'm not entirely who. The first documented instance of someone being directly asked was, I believe, the Peter Brown Dan Ely interview in the early 80s, which is hilarious, by the way. So PB which is what we call him, PB, is desperately trying to get out of this room. That looks like a weird side locker room, by the way, like all just concrete blocks, just this weird, ugly, like, ugly tan color type situation, and he's holding his coat in front of him, and he's like, "Thank you. Uh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you." Peanut butter would be doing it too much, P Joe, it's not even peanut butter, it was worse than that, and so he's like, "Thank you. Okay. Oh, thank," and then somebody goes, Did you think that, Brian may have been murdered?" And he's like, "What?" And he's trying so hard to get out of there. Okay. And he's like, "No, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay." The Arena documentary is insane. Joanne, Brian's secretary, went on record in the accompanying interviews to say she believed the death was suspicious with no tangible evidence. Joanne was one of the first people there, and so was PB. So, like, there was suspicion thrown at Peter, which I still find just to be heartbreaking. And I think that there's a lot of suspicion thrown at Peter as well because he took some of Brian's shirts, but I think that that is not a matter of, like, stealing shit from Brian as much as his, like, lifelong friend that they were extremely close, extremely, extremely close to each other. Um, it was probably a matter of, like, I just want something of his close to me. Just general weird grief stuff that we do. I did hear a story that he was having a party before his death where he sent out for an escort, but I can't remember the exact place I read that or if I can confirm it. That would be the first time I would be hearing that. I think he had plans to go somewhere, but I'm not positive. What a strange thing to steal. I mean, a couple t-shirts, or not t-shirts, dress shirts. But I think he might have stolen like a tie. There's some wardrobe items. But hey, something that, like, if you think about it, something that smells like your loved one, I guess it makes sense, right? Peter Brown was also living in Brian's house when he died. I feel is probably relevant to the stealing rumors. I heard the escort story, and you're talking about Kingsley Hill. Okay, so the thing is that Peter Brown lived with Brian on and off for a couple of years, um, and so they were extremely close. Codependent at best, like that. I think a lot of times, like, if Peter was like smacking him to consciousness, like that Murray the K interview. Um, Brian was completely out of it, and they were like, "You're not going on," and he was like, "No, gonna go on," and they're like, "Brian, you're not going on," and I mean, PB had to like smack the fucking shit out of him to get him up, and I think that that was a lot of handling of him. Which Kingsley Hill was Brian's home in Sussex. He stayed there 2 days before he died with Peter Brown and Jeffrey Ellis, but the escort rumors are unsubstantiated. It's a load of crap to me, it's just another false rumor. I don't know. The escort thing? I mean, one thing is that, uh, sex work was not that rare in this particular circle. I always remember Lennon's reaction to Brian's death. He acted like a bomb just went off. That interview is awful. It's so hard to watch. I believe some of Peter's friends were supposed to join the group for dinner, but it didn't pan out. The group argued, and then Brian left for his home in London. No, the whole murder thing. Oh, yeah, no, that's for sure just another false rumor. That's just people being bored. Also, no sign of a ham sandwich. Did I miss something? Did I miss a funny joke? Something about a ham sandwich? Because honestly, I had green beans. Listen to this: green beans, mashed potatoes, and burnt ends for dinner. I made some big meal cooking. I love a good green bean, gotta tell you. I love a green veggie. Okay, but I feel like I missed a good joke. Do we know what his Mama Cass false death? Okay, so Cass Elliot. Um, that was a terrible story that Elliot Cass died. Okay, or Cass Elliot died. Cass Elliot, guys. Um, green beans are awesome. Okay, let's see, what was the thing? Do we know what his condition was before he died? Not good. He had been in an institutional in an institute and left basically AMA. Um, just I believe a couple of days after his first uh like after being admitted, and he came home and was like, I'm just vibing. I'm just chilling. And I believe Secretary Joanne was like Assistant Joanne was like, "Why is he home?" And Peter was like, "What am I supposed to do? I mean, I can't he's a big boy. I can't make him, you know?" From what I understand. So he was not in a good, position, like, he was not healthy at this point, and whatever medications he was taking bromide, I believe, like, in other medications, like, he whatever he was taking, I believe none of it was outside of the doctor's orders. Let me take oh, broccoli and cauliflower. Ooh, cauliflower, yum. I love a good baby carrot, by the way. Okay, hang on. I hadn't seen Brian for breakfast in years. Let's see. Okay, so this is Ray Coleman, right, Sky? Okay. Hang on, guys. This is Ray Coleman, right? The Man Who Made the Beatles by Ray Coleman, which I need to read fully. So, Brown and I tried to dissuade him because he'd had a fair amount to drink and we felt he ought to keep his own plan of spending a quiet week in the country. Okay, so he was in the country. I don't know if that means institutionalized or just like hanging out in the country, but he was determined. So he drove off in the car, which was a large Bentley convertible, always in style, open at the time, and drove off up to London, leaving Peter and myself there. That's, I believe, Jeffrey Ellis. Peter Brown says, I was concerned because I didn't think he was in a fit state to drive. He went off assuring me that he was going to be all right. He said I should go to bed and we would all be together the next morning for breakfast. I had no belief in that at all. I hadn't seen Brian for breakfast for years. Jeffrey says, oh, this is so sad. After a short time, a London taxi drew up with about 4 people in it who were the friends and friends of friends that Brian had telephoned and suggested to come down for the evening. You know how it is when you're wasted and you're like, come on, come on. Okay. Um, At least, that's what I used to do back in the day. Uh, to come down for the evening, possibly the night. I think they were a little surprised to find that their host had left, but they stayed. We all had a few drinks and just spent the night there. On the Saturday morning, Peter Brown and I, who were the only ones left, spent the day. We had lunch and tried to telephone Brian in London. Eventually, he called back and said that he was going to stay in London for another night. He wasn't feeling terribly strong, and so he was relaxing at home in bed. So Peter Brown and I were left again to our own devices in the house. And by the way, Jeffrey and Peter, not besties. I mean, they like tolerated each other, but it was not like they were not super thrilled ever to be around each other. Not like wouldn't pick each other, I would say. So Peter says, he called late in the afternoon and was speaking in a woozy voice. He apologized for not coming back and maybe letting us worry. I suspect that when he went back to London, he did go out, cruised to the West End for a bit, and then he went home. I urged him to come back to the country. Oh, I'm so sad. But there was no way he could drive back because he sounded pretty awful, and I suggested him coming on the train. It was an unlikely thing for him to do, but it was the only thing I could think of at the time. Jeffrey says, on the Sunday morning, Peter and I were feeling a bit shifty at enjoying Brian's hospitality without him being present. And we telephoned again and spoke to Brian's butler, Antonio, who said that Mr. Epstein was in the house. They had not seen him the night before, but his car was outside and his bedroom door was locked. So we said, "Well, please, as soon as he wakes, let us know because we'd like to speak to him to see if he was coming down for the rest of the weekend." Hang on, guys. I need to get this book real quick. Hang on. Give me a moment. Give me just a sec. I'm gonna get this book and we will keep reading the sad thing in just a moment. Oh my god. I'm so outrageous right now. Brave. Okay. Anna's archive. VSAD packing another bowl. Funniest thing. Very sad. Anyway, who wants to take a hit? VSAD packing another bowl. Sorry. Oh, who up bowling their pack right now? Okay, let's see. Okay. Green beans are awesome. I know it's probably easiest for friends and family to believe it was accidental, but there were many substances in his system. I just think it's almost impossible to know, really. Like, it was just so, like, I mean, I personally think it was like this particular moment, was it on purpose? Probably not, you know? But I just it was so precarious anyway. Love broccoli and cauliflower, so does my dog, love that. Alan Klein would have eventually forced Brian out anyway. Um, Lennon said his first thought was, "We fucking had it." I don't think that John was thinking that at first, actually, but I know that that's what he said one time. They would have 1,000% stayed with Epstein if he was still alive instead of Klein or Epstein. They wouldn't just ditch him. He made them who they are. They didn't want to get rid of him. He was really stressed out, and he's even talked about, um, getting rid of the Beatles, and they were like, "Fuck you." Did the other Beatles know Brian was gay, or was it just yeah, they all knew he was gay. Not only did they know Brian was gay, they had other gay friends. It was not a big deal. Um, like, I think that they almost think that they have to react like it's something salacious, but it really wasn't, like, a big deal to them. Like, the most thing was that they would make stupid jokes. Okay, let's see here. Beatles, I'm pretty sure would have signed up with him. Klein? No. I don't think that they I think that it was a very opportunistic thing for Klein. Let's see here. It's so tragic that he died so soon and not too much time after homosexuality was legalized. His life would have been a lot easier. Yeah, and also in a quote, someone asked him in an interview what he was looking forward to, and he mentioned kind of slyly that there was something that he was hoping would happen. Wasn't there a copy of the Yellow Submarine script on the bed with Brian writing on it? No, there was not a Yellow Submarine script, and it certainly wasn't happening. It had just been sort of greenlit in August. You think Let It Be would have been more successful with Brian? Like the movie? I mean, no matter what the Beatles would do, it was gonna be successful. It was hard and terrible being gay in the '60s. I think society around you did not accept you, and if you went out cottaging for affection, it was dangerous. Can't imagine what it must have been like. Oh, awful. Hell. Just hell. So, they were working on Yellow Sub. Y'all need to watch my Yellow Submarine movie video. It's like is one of my best videos of all time. Um, so they started working Brian was the one who started working on the Yellow Submarine movie, um, and it was not known if it was going to be animated at that time. He was shopping for a lot of scripts, and everything that came across his desk, he was like, and this is Brian, like, to the bone Brian. So he's like, "Trash, trash, 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 trash," like, everything, like, literally. So people would be giving him and he'd be like, "Trash, it's trash. All of this is trash. None of this is good enough to even look at the Beatles. Trash." So they they get, and I'm not kidding. Like, he was just, people would send him like the most successful script writers and he would be like, "Trash, trash, 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 trash. You want me to show this to the Beatles?" He wouldn't even open it. He'd be like, "Psh, I'm not going to show this to the Beatles. This is trash." So they get a hold of Al Brodax, or Al Brodax inserts himself. It kind of depends on who you're talking to. And he comes in with, I mean, he came in with like 5 different scripts, all in pastels, because someone, Jeffrey Ellis, told him, "Hey, Brian likes pastels. Get them get the folders in pastels." And one of them is Joe Heller, and he looks at it, he's like, "Trash, trash, 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 trash. Fuck this, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you." And and Al goes, "It's a Joe Heller script." And he's like, "I don't care if it was made by the Queen of England, it's trash. I don't want it near the Beatles." And they wind up getting in a physical altercation, which is hilarious because it's basically 2 fucked up people, one of them completely on drugs. It's it's two angry, fucked up Jews, like, essentially. One of them from Brooklyn and one of them from somewhere rich in the UK, because I forget where he's exactly from. And he, like, they're getting into a fight. They push each up against the window, and they're like, We are too old for this." So, eventually, Brian's like, "I never wanna fucking see you again," and Al's like, "Deal, see ya." But Al actually really likes money, so he gets a hold of Jeffrey Ellis, and Joanne is like, "Give me another shot. Give me another shot. Please let me try it again." Because if since the Beatles cartoon did well in the US, Brian once told me that maybe I would be able to get a shot at the 3rd movie, because everybody knows that the Beatles have 3 movies. And so he eventually, somehow, I don't know if Brian was just really fucked up that night, but Brian was not doing well. This is literally like a week, maybe 2, before Brian dies. Okay. This is I see that everybody's talking. I don't give a shit. I want to talk about Yell Summary for a minute. So it's like a week, maybe 2. And I know Sky is like drooling for this because Sky was my sounding board for every single thing I ever did with Yell Submarine. So, and it's according to Al, who is a bit of a fantasist, and I love him for this. It's like this middle of the night meeting, like Jeffrey and Joanne show up at his hotel, and they're like, we need you so bad. Please help. Oh my God, Al. Oh my God." And Al's like, "Well, I guess I'm gonna have to." That's probably not how it went down. It was probably more like, "Hey, I have to go back to New York, but would you think that maybe we could talk to Brian again?" Well, Brian wanted absolutely nothing to do with Al again. He was like, "I do not want to fucking see him." But something, um, Leggy Mountbatten in the Ruddles movie, Funny or Disrespectful? Funny. Um, it was funny. And Brian had a wonderful sense of humor. He would have laughed. Okay, back to my story. So Al comes in and says he gets somehow with Jeffrey. I don't know what this conversation, nobody knows. No one else was in the room when it happened. I'm so sorry. But Jeffrey comes back and says, "Okay, listen. You have script approval. You have final whatever. Just never talk to Brian again. Just do your fucking thing. Come up with a script, okay? Your animated thing. All right? All right?" And so Al was like, "Deal." And so he comes up with this shit ass script that is essentially like the Beatles cartoons, which I've seen like little scenes of, but everybody knows that it was garbage. But I think a lot of people, like a lot of kids in the US really liked them. But as far as like a Beatles movie was not cool. So John was like, "Fuck you. I'm not going to be in a bloody Flintstones script." So that's when Al takes on about like 3 to 7 other script writers, and they write on a script that is developing for the entirety of the film production. There are parts of they were animating for a movie that hadn't been written, and they started animating for the songs first because they knew what songs would probably be on. And then they were given like, "Okay, so we're thinking of this fantastical scene. George Martin, look at this." And George would say, "Okay." And they would say, "Hey, George, can you write something to this?" And he would say, "Well, I am a genius. So, yeah, sure, I guess I'll do that." And he's like, uh I guess I'll punctuate my points with a click track and we'll make this work with the editor." And George Dunning, the director, was really struggling with alcoholism at the time, but also just had a wonderful um, kind of grasp on the situation and just let people work in teams and said like, your little station. So you want to do the Lucy rotoscope? Great, do that. You want to do this? You want to do the Eleanor Rigby intro? Great, do this. Great, do this. Great, do this. Okay. So anyway, Brian, it was really, hang on. Up Periscope Yellow. This is Al's book. This is now my favorite book. And I really love this. I love this little story where he talks about finding out that Brian died. Hang on real quick. Oh, by the way, now I've just remembered. I know why he fucking got all of the shit that he got. It's because they got a really, really bad deal. Okay. Let me find it. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. There are so many people here. I have not read this in so long. Think Your Yellow Submarine video was the first one I watched. Well, that is why you're still here, because that was a good one. Yeah, okay. On the morning of the 10th day, and embarrassed because he'd been there for 10 days, Jeffrey Ellis appears at my flat to announce a kind of breakthrough. Remember that this guy, Al Brodax, is really good at making himself the guy. So, like, read this with a big hunk of salt. Mark, I don't want to deal with this slander, okay? If anybody's going to be like a real dickhead about Brian today, I will have your comments removed. I'm not in the mood. Okay. An embarrassed Jeffrey Ellis appears at my flat to announce a kind of breakthrough. A meeting is to take place in no more than a fortnight, an eternity. This is difficult to comprehend. Can't I just call it in? All I'd have to say is Heller, because Joe Heller. All he'd have to do is utter the word yes. You slap the paper on his desk. He signs. Bingo. Done. That's it. Jeffrey winces, not the way Brian does business. The gamesmanship is Brian's typical MO. It's a matter of control, something genetic. Wendy and I unhappily have to live with it, is what Jeffrey says. I counter with a shot from the hip, but fuck him, I don't. Jeffrey, ever the gentleman, ignores my well-honed Brooklyn-esque flex and backs out of my flat. The words "stay put" bounce off the hallway walls. In a nanosecond, he reappears. He wants the scripts. This strange choreography completely throws me. I hesitate, but hastily reconsider and shove the scripts at him. He manages a semblance of a smile, says cheers, and disappears. By the 12th day, a fortnight becomes an eternity, and I can no longer wait. I call Brian's office. His secretary immediately spouts that international litany for fuck off. Sorry, Mr. Epstein is on the 13th day. Wendy calls. Enough of this cat and mouse shit. Jeffrey and I are at the Elephant. Join us. We have a plan. Okay, so blah, 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 blah. Precisely at 3 o'clock the following day, the three of us appear at Brian's office. Epstein, pale, somewhat shaken, is sitting behind an elegant antique partner's desk. The four treatments are on the floor beside it, which accounts for the thump, because they just heard a thump. Nothing remains on his desk except the agreement in principle. There are no words. I collect the scripts in their different colored bindings and gingerly, so pathetic, and gingerly place them in front of him on his desk. He swipes at the pile. They hit the floor once again. Shit, nothing here. Not a color I would even have grace my desk. Nothing between those covers. Nothing that would be Beatle-worthy. He admits that he hasn't read any of them. The colors were too abhorrent, which is funny because he is colorblind. I reach for that green Heller piece. He spins out of his chair, rushes toward me, rips the script out of my hand and tosses it across the room. American writers don't write English. They write American. I won't sign off on anything American. It doesn't apply. It's all too rough. Nothing English about it. It's all shit. All American shit. I manage something like, it's a Joe Heller script. I reach for Brian's collar and push him towards a very large window. I push him hard and push him once again. Suddenly, I'm in a Brooklyn street fight. Okay, one thing about Al is that he's gonna tell us, all of us, a lot, that he's from Brooklyn, okay? Don't forget it. Suddenly, I'm in a Brooklyn street fight. I wait for the counter push, but there isn't any. It's just kind of a puppy yelp as Jeffrey bursts in and separates us. Wendy gathers up the manuscripts. Brian stares at me menacingly and shakes his head. Wendy declares that she is making tea. Jeffrey very calmly seats Brian and announces, United Artists is getting very antsy. I'm concerned that this deal might blow away if there is no third picture. There will be, I assure you, a significant lawsuit. Okay. So, anyway, they're not allowed to see each other. Al signs a shitty deal and eventually gets there. Okay, I see that you guys were arguing a little bit, so I'm just gonna assume that we're not arguing anymore. Let me find. Let's see here. Yeah, no need to be nitpicky on Brian's big day when I talk about sad shit. But that is like, no matter how Al turns out in that story, that for sure happened in some degree because Brian was very physical. Like, I know that he kind of comes off as this whimpering puppy sometimes, but he was actually very physical and very aggressive. Um, so like he did get in fights, he threw shit all the time, he yelled at people all the time. Like the trash thing, like he did that. He was not very much of a whimpering puppy. He actually was very aggressive and yeah, let's see here. Where is this? Let me find it. Okay. Jesus Christ. Let me find it. Come on, Lars. Get it together. Because I already see where I'm at, and it's already at a part where he's hating on somebody else. Okay. We're so close. We are so close because I just saw August. Come on. Where is it? I'm gonna keep flipping. I'm gonna keep flipping because I really liked how he wrote it. Okay, whatever. I'm just gonna tell you guys the whole story again. So essentially what happens is he gets a call in the middle of the night, essentially that Brian has died. And he finds out that just like everybody else, that the Beatles were in Bangor, but he thought, because he's American and because I think a lot of people would make this mistake, he thought, "Oh, they're in India." And so he was just thinking, "Oh, well, the boys must be flying back now." So, you know, no jet lag for the boys. Brian is dead. I guess that's good. Like, meaning, like, I guess there's no jet lag, that's good. I'll try to like myself more in the morning. I love the way that he writes. I wish that I could find it. I'm never gonna do this right. Oh my god. Where is it? Fuck. I can't ever I'm like, I wish that I was like a good writer like these people are, but I'm not. Where is it? It's not, none of this is happening. It's none of this. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. This is so infuriating. My God. Okay. Here it is. Abe calls from London, reporting the enormous coverage in the morning papers that papers Brian's death. Early reports. Okay, here it is. Yeah. A late night newscast appears. A late night newscast appears, reporting the shocking death of Brian Epstein at the age of 32, August 27th, 1967. Shocking, sad, difficult to comprehend. But in retrospect, my initial thought had little to do with Brian's untimely death, but more rather with the fact that just one day after their arrival in Bangalore, it will interrupt the Beatles' much needed rest. The death will upset them terribly, considering their affection, most times, for Brian. They will undoubtedly return to London on the first available flight, in effect, do a Huey, an airborne U-turn that has the distinct advantage of keeping one's body more or less in the same time zone. No jet lag. For me, this thought brings me such an overwhelming sense of relief that it seems to overshadow the unhappy fact of Brian's demise. A long, uncomfortable night of measuring my cockeyed sense of priority. No jet lag for the boys. Brian, gone. Oh, I love how he fucking writes. Okay. So I think that book finally downloaded so I can stop talking about Al. It's hard for me to stop talking about Al. You guys don't understand. I have an issue. See you later, Scott. Sorry I let you guys argue and stuff. I see that there was a lot of conversation. Part of the pitch Klein made. Okay, I don't want to talk about Klein right now. I just don't think that that's an appropriate conversation to be having at this moment. Let me see what page we're at. You're looking in my life, the Brian Epstein. Fuck, Sky. I'm so stupid. I should have seen your message. Okay. Oh my God. I'm so dumb. Give me a second, you guys. Is this one on archive? Please tell me that this is on archive. Or, ooh, better yet, is it on my hard drive? Oh, shit. It's not. It's on archive, but it's not available for borrow. Oh my God. Okay. You guys are like, see ya, see ya, see ya. I'm going to lose everybody. Everybody's going to drop like flies. Okay. So just the airplane story in the Philippines proves that. I think he did a short stint doing the national service, but not long. He did do a short stint in the national service for around a year. Those family were able to get him a placement he was slightly more suited to in London. He despised it. Hey, Shaden. Sorry, Scott. What's a good Beatles book to start with? Um, the Beatles anthology book is good. I would start with that. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see if my book's open. Because I know that Sky has sent me that book before. the amount of books that we have shared and okay, in my life, the Brian Epstein story. Maybe you? I'm back, just had to do my eye medicine. Ugh, I get it. I just I hate Alan Klein so much. Like, all of the mistakes that Brian made, which were I mean, there were several. I just here's the thing, those were, like, mistakes, and Klein made very purposeful, selfish, greedy decisions to rob his ex. Whereas Brian may have been naive, stupid, or just drunk sometimes. He did like to gamble, and sometimes he made the bad bets. Poor Bry. Uh, those were like oopsies, but he did a lot of things correct and did things well in a like um unprecedented situation. Whereas Klein was literally out to rob people. Nicholas Schaffner's Complete Beatles is great. Yeah. George wasn't bullshitting when he said beware of Abco. Yeah. No, he's right. Sky, I'm pulling the actual book because, it's, like, rotating weird, and I don't wanna read it like this. Let's see, what page are we at? 160? Okay. I think I just downloaded it all the way. Let's see. Oh, it's downloading. I think, um, Can't Buy Me Love's okay, it's not bad. I think I really like Pete Shotton's book for a John book. It's interesting, it's a good read. Um, I think it would behoove you if you're not reading Beatles books specifically, you don't need to pick a John book because John is so heavily covered more than Paul, more than the other you could pick any of the other ones. Okay, skip to okay, okay. So there's just I'm Sky, thanks for sending all these. Sky sending me things. I like Tim Riley's Tell Me Why, kind of a similar feel to Revolution in the Head. Revolution in the Head is a hard one sometimes, I gotta say. Yeah, the Stones, I feel like, yeah, indentured servitude to Klein. Oh my god. Discord is so annoying sometimes, you guys. It's, like, just really like, "Hey, did you wanna rotate that easily? Can't do it, sorry." Avoid John Green's books at all cost. John Green, the fortune teller? I mean, listen, I'm not gonna tell you to avoid anybody's books, including Mark Lewison. I'm gonna tell you to read with a responsible eye and to pay attention to what you're reading, give yourself good context, listen to no one with a full indebted heart. And Mark, you're wrong. It is extremely interesting. It is I John Green's book, is it historically accurate? No. I mean, is it like does it stand up to scrutiny like in historiography? No. But I think it is a good I think honestly it's probably a pretty good characterization of John and Yoko considering all of the other accounts we have of them and their personage at that point in time in their lives. Um but John Green is a quack as a person, like a bad person. Dude, Mark, watch my fucking video on this. I made a video about this. Like, it does not stand up. I didn't say that it was an accurate book. I'm saying that it's an accurate portrayal, like in the way that if you're talking about personification and like, okay, what is this person like? How does this person act? That's how they acted. Like that's Yoko was in bed eating chocolate, um like demanding everything, shit talking all of her servants. John was calling people and saying he didn't know what the fuck he was doing and didn't want to be a father a second time. Was also obsessing about weird rituals in deciding all of his travel. Hi Chris, oh my god. Hi. You're up late. I actually don't know if this is late for you. Is this late for you, Chris? Um but like it's just a good personification of John and Yoko. And you know why? And this is all the stuff. Mark is so funny because Mark, you're so right. Like, because this guy, he's the John and Yoko's tarot reader, and he's their um on their payroll full time. And everything that John, everything that happened that John should have done is stuff that John Green, who went by a different name that I don't remember at this moment, um, like said that he should have done. Like, I told John and Yoko that they should have gotten security. I told them. And it's like, yeah, you say that now, publishing your book like 5 years after he died. So you're going to say, I'm psychic and I told them to get security, that it was dangerous, blah, blah, blah. Like everything that they did right, he took credit for, and everything that they should have done correctly, like that they did wrong, he was like, I told them and they didn't. Like he's insane. It's like the craziest person. But those personifications of them are very accurate because they're pulled from several different accounts, and in some cases quotes from like direct quotes from John's interviews from like 1973. You know what I mean? It's crazy. What would Brian think of Yoko? Okay. I don't think he'd like her very much. I think he would think, I mean, I'm gonna let Sky give input, but I think he would think she's full of shit. And why would John pick John Green? Well, he wouldn't, because John Lennon was dead. Oh, why would he pick John? Well, so John Green, the tarot card reader, was not under John Lennon's employ, he was under Yoko's. And John Lennon did not make decisions. Yoko made the household decisions. And that's not like a rub against Yoko. That's just like a thing. Everybody knows that. That's how John was comfortable. He wanted the woman to make the decisions. We're on 160. Okay. Yeah, I don't think that I mean, like Brian, as Sky said, agree with Lars here. Brian wasn't the type to be openly rude and disrespectful, but I think they would have clashed personality wise. Brian, this water bottle, I got this on Amazon for $20. So like Brian went on dates, not just chaperoning, but like just went on after George and Patty were like married, went on dates with them, hung out with them, they were friends. That is not how it would have been with Yoko. He would not have liked her. Okay. Okay. So, back to the sad book. We're back to the sad part. Some people showed up. Chris, sorry, we're talking about Brian dying. Okay, Fred, never read John Green's book. I read Fred Seaman's book at a library one time. I haven't read it in full. I've just read bits and pieces. I have it, but I haven't read it. I think the thing that I am going to try to stay away from, didn't Paul send Yoko to John? As in Yoko came to Paul to ask about getting certain things for, I believe, John Cage. Was that it? And so, like, I think manuscripts or musical scores, and Paul said, "Fine with me, go see John." That is one story. Um, I and for all the flaws and such of The Love You Make, which has shoddily, um, very inaccurate, and credibility is tough. I believe that the portrayal of how Yoko showed up, um, considering all of the other books that I've read that back it up, is probably the most accurate. It's l I mean, yeah, that's part of it, but Yoko was already ingratiating herself around the crew at this point. She tried it with Ringo first, which is insane because Ringo was so fucking in love with Mo. I mean, the only thing he loved more than Mo was his active alcoholism. No shade, trust me, as an alcoholic. Um, so, like, tried it with Mo first, and he was not into whatever, whatever thing that. Yeah, Peter Brown's book is tough. It's well written at times, it's very weird. Oh, hi, Sasha. So, um, like, I think as far as talking about how Yoko was, she was going to get into this group no matter what. She was gonna do it. Uh, that's and that doesn't paint all of my other opinions about her, I just think that that's true. There's the anthology video outtakes where they get into Yoko, don't think that'll make the new cut either. Early morning in Moscow, what time is it there? Okay, let's go back to the sad thing. Okay. Alright. She was determined. Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts about Yoko, and I'm gonna cut this almost immediately because I don't want to 6:26, good morning, because I don't wanna go where I think that this is gonna go, but, um, there's a lot there. So we're gonna cut this Yoko chat right now. Alright. Let's go back to Brian. Let's all get sad. Let's get sad, okay, instead of mad. So we're back at it's the morning. Peter Brown and Jeffrey Ellis have been hanging out in the country, kind of on Brian's dime. Brian had gone off to London, and when Peter had talked to Brian last, Brian was very slurry, and he was like, "Maybe you should take a train out here, like, you should come out here. Come on, girl, like, let's party together. Please, get in my fucking, like, please, get in my fucking line of sight, okay? We're, like, very concerned about you, dude." Um, and uh he was like, it's fine, you know? So, that morning, let's see, here we are. Okay. So, wait a second, where are we here? Oh my god. So that morning they're calling. Jeffrey Ellis says, "On the Sunday morning, Peter and I were feeling a bit shifty at enjoying Brian's hospitality without him being present. When we telephoned again and spoke to Brian's butler, Antonio, who said that Mr. Epstein was in the house. They had not seen him the night before, but his car was outside and his bedroom door was locked. So we said, well, please, as soon as he wakes, let us know because we'd like to speak to him to see if he was coming down for the rest of the weekend." By the way, Sky, thanks for recommending this. I appreciate it. Peter says, "We went to the local pub for lunch. I think the housekeeper at the house in the country called me at the pub and said that the houseman in Chapel Street was concerned about Brian." What was the drugs he was on? Okay, hang on. Sky already mentioned this like way earlier. Um, where is it? So Sky, the drugs that he was in, for the people who are new here, Sky Diamonded is my mod today, but also one of my very, very good friends. And you guys know how I am about saying expert, so we're not going to necessarily say expert, but I am going to say that Sky is one of the most knowledgeable, probably I think the most hardworking, knowledgeable Brian person, including all authors, including Mark Lewison, third time. I think I'm just being hateful today for specific reasons that do not matter to this chat. But I'm in a fucking mood regarding people and things. Okay. So Brian was prescribed around a dozen medications, including, these are prescription, by the way. So if he was following the rules, barbiturates, bromide, amitriptylines, antidepressants, and various combinations of 60s psych meds that are mostly banned nowadays. So, like, just that little cocktail, way. Okay. Joanne Peterson, this is one of Brian's assistants because at this point he's got a whole little staff. On Sunday lunchtime, I got a call from the couple that lived in the house, Antonio and Maria. Antonio said that he was very concerned that Brian had come back from Kingsley Hill, that's one of his homes, on Friday. His car hadn't moved since Saturday, and it was now Sunday lunchtime. I asked him why was he concerned? Yes, and mixed with alcohol, Mark, good point. Mixed with alcohol, and I don't know, did Brian smoke weed? Like, he must have at times, right? That wasn't, like, a normal thing for him. Like, he wasn't really concerned about weed. Was he concerned about weed? Sky? Sorry, Sky. Sky's probably like, "I'm gonna kill you." Sky's never gonna talk to me again. Which is not true, by the way. Sky and I are bonded for life. He did, but not at the time. Yeah, okay. I think that it was kind of like, I can take it or I can leave it. Keith Richards, okay, there was really weird stuff going on with prescription drugs in the UK at the 60s. Keith Richards has talked about this at times. His drugs of choice were mostly uppers and acid and occasionally heroin. Imagine that combo, uppers, acid, and heroin. Whew. Well, like, no, see, smoking weed at the Sergeant Pepper party, that's fine. I'm talking about like regular. So, David, yo, Lars, love your vids. What are your thoughts on the Nothing Is Real podcast? Never listened to it. I need to have like a banner that goes across every 15 minutes. Lars Lynn does not watch Beatles creators, listen to Beatles podcasts, or anything like that on purpose. Lars Lynn is friends with Abby and Nancy, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, Riding So High by Joe Goodman. I got a hold of that one for the White Album video. That is a book. Okay. Yes, that's written by the Beatles Bible guy, who I would say be careful. I wouldn't like Beatles Bible. Don't take that term so literally. You're going to want to double check everything you read from him, okay? But like from his website, but that book is very well sourced. I came to this live late, but I will say I never believed Brian was killed. No one here believes he was killed either. That was just a stupid rumor from some idiot. We don't really know the origin of that. If we ever find out, we'll talk about it. But we don't know it. So we don't have it. Hang on. Okay. Oh my God, no, unalived. I hate that shit. I hate like unalived, sewer slide, self-delete. I hate that shit so bad. People like I did this conversation like my last live, which is not, it's private, but because I didn't like it. But I I really cannot stress this enough. Yeah, Slasher Mini Film said it. I cannot stress this enough. You are not going to get demonetized for saying suicide or for saying murder or like or even like sex work. You're not going to get demonetized. It's a matter of like saying it over and over, and half of these people that do that shit are literally they're literally sponsored. Like they have sponsors in their videos, so they don't even need to do it. And it drives me fucking insane because I'm like, okay, you spend 3 hours talking about some weird true crime thing and you have funny jokes and relatively well-written things, and you can't possibly just say ended his life instead. Like you couldn't make that work, or like you couldn't have and, like, taken his life. Like, you couldn't, that's it's seriously, there's so many ways to say that without sounding like you're saying, "Oh my god, look at the bit of aiming in, he's sewer slide." It's so, like, no, just in, like, you know what? As a rape survivor, because I mean, I talked about my suicide attempts earlier, might as well talk about that. Nothing makes me so grape. Oh my god, don't. You can say assault, like, if like, grape, that's the word we're going with for forced sexual coercion, like, sexual coercion, you could say. Like, there's 8 b forced himself on her. Like, there's a bajillion ways to fucking say that, grape. Ugh, ugh. You can tell things that piss Lars off for 100, please. Passed away, it works. Yeah, passed away works. We are not allowed to say real words today. It's so silly. I shared a spliff with Zane Lowe and he went nuts and tried to ruin my life. Che, you gotta tell that story. Che, it's late night. It's a late night Lars Lane chat. You gotta tell that story. Okay, I'm gonna be reading and you're gonna be typing because you can't just say that in the 2000s. Okay. So like, so like, do you want to spill the tea? There's only 31 of us here. Do you want to spill the tea, Che? I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna read this sad story over here. I'm not gonna look. I'm gonna read this. And then you can decide whether or not you want to share the tea. And, you know, we won't tell anybody. Will we tell anybody, chat? We won't tell anybody. We're not telling anybody. If you want me to, Jay, I will literally private this after. Nobody else has to see. There's only 30 of us here. Half of these people are scrubbing their floors. Like they're not even. Yeah, see, Brian's not telling anybody. Slasher Mini Films is saying no. Nobody's telling Che, nobody's telling anybody anything. Joe will never tell. We will never tell. We are so good at keeping secrets. Frankly. I knew about Anthology 2025 early last week. And also none of us care enough to tell anyone. That's kind of true. Secret safe with me. My friend Liz and I love your vids. You kill it for the Beatles fans under 40. Thank you. I'm 35, so we're pushing it. I got like 5 good years left tops. Also, Che, I'd like to know about the level, the size, the density of said spliff. Okay, I'm going to go back to reading. And then if I see some big ass paragraph, we're going to pause the sad shit. I'll come back. All right. Che. No pressure, Che. No pressure. All right. Okay. Jesus Christ. I got lost. I got lost in my little page. So we've got some 30-year-olds, 25-year-olds. Kind of okay, wait. Oh, Che's already here. Che's here. Che doesn't want me to read the sad stuff. Che wants to talk. I was a sound engineer in a venue, Gonzo MTV tour come around. I was in shock as he crushed a CD in his hand, blood all over the place. After the gig, we were on the tour bus. Oh, we're sharing secrets, Eric. We're sharing secrets. Mid-50s. Hell yeah, Joe. Yeah, what was the album? Like to pop in and say you're doing a huge favor for Gen Z people like me, and your videos are great. Thanks for all that you do. Oh, thank you. I'm mostly here to piss off the old guys, and I think I did because my demographics switched at the beginning. For like the first year, it was literally 98% dudes and all of them were above 50. And now I've got 70%, 70 something percent guys, 20% ladies, and like 2% unspecified, which means I got the girls and the gays. Want to piss off old guys, talk about Cracker Barrel. I love Cracker Barrel, and I'm annoyed with people going with the weird stuff. I'm so tired. Like Charlie, Penguin Zero, did the Cracker Barrel video, so I'll let him take it over if you guys wanna go watch how I feel about it. I'm gonna be 30 in October. Ooh, Sasha, also in the 30s. The elder Gen Zs. We were chatting and he started shouting at me and ordered me off the bus. How it was in American 90. Um, in the 90s, it was pretty kinda there's no cell phones, you know what I'm saying? I was a kid, so I was born in 1990. So, um, I have to say in the 90s, New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh was pretty solid. I think I liked Barney, but I was really a Pooh kid. I'm not sure if this is a problem with you with the sensitive stuff that's talked about here. I'm a high schooler, sophomore year, but I've heard all of this stuff before, of course. Do you mind? No? You're fine. We're not DMing or anything. Like, if it were a situation of me getting, like, personal messages from a sophomore in high school, I would not be comfortable with that. I think that's understandable, though. But, yeah, if you're here, you wanna chat, you wanna share with the class, like, yeah, that's fine. But I'm not really interested in having, like, I'm not interested in being a 35-year-old in someone's teenager's DMs. Like, okay. Regarding the 90s. Okay, great. Okay, great, thanks, completely understand, just here to talk. Yeah, Brian, you're cool. Probably the youngest. Yeah, you're probably the youngest here. Okay, you're good, Bri. Um, Frankly, would rather have a sophomore in high school than some of the elder haters. Not that okay, because if there are any boomers in here, don't get mad at me at all, because I'm not, like, I think my Patreon is almost 1000%. It's almost 100%, Gen X and older, but, um, like, generally, I've made a lot of old people really angry. Share with the class means, like, okay, so it's a kind of a meme joke thing. Brian never met Yoko, as far as I know. As far as I know, Yoko wasn't did Sky? Um, don't be racist. First off, Tobias, you're cool because of your name, but I like your fucking thing. I like your little doodad. Um, no, I've just made a lot of old people really angry. Really angry. Like, really, really angry. I don't if Brian knew who Yoko was, he would have no interest in meeting her. Like, independently of the Beatles, he would that's not really his style. Okay. Not really interested. Tobias, you don't count. Not that your age doesn't count. And meaning I'm talking about a specific subset of people that really don't like me. In that specific subset, on occasion, I wish that I got these more because they're so amazing, where people will come in and they'll be like, "Nose ring, not gonna listen." Love those. Like, "Please come back." And they'll be like, "Ew, tattoos." And I'm like, "Please, this is so funny." Like, and they're so wholesome. It's like, "Oh, they're mad about that." I think most boomers wouldn't watch 9-hour videos, LOL. I say that in the most kind way, I swear. I think most people wouldn't and maybe shouldn't watch 9-hour. I cannot believe that people do that. Like, I can believe that I make them. Still kind of fucked up that 20K views on the White Album video. I'm just like, okay. I mean, I'm not mad. I'm just like shocked. It still blows me away. But then again, my Lost video has 45,000. Hell yeah, Lost. Only took me 3 years. Okay. let's get sad. If anybody else has some insane story about anyone, we'll read it. Oh, wait. Was there someone in here that did like you? No. Everyone is no, I'm just kidding. I think we're all just buds. No, okay, so share with the class. Sorry, Derek. Share with the class means, like, if your teacher would catch you sharing notes or talking to someone while their teacher is talking or doing something else, and it's like, "What you talking about?" Like, "Oh, Derek, what's going on? Why don't you share with the class?" Like, that's what that means. So it's like, "Oh, you got something interesting going on," and it's usually like you're gossiping or you're, like, I don't know, listening to the baseball game in a transistor radio, which that's from Boy Meets World. Some of your epic videos I split over a few days like a mini series. I don't know how else you would do it. I know a couple people that watch them in marathons, and I think that is absolutely insane. I'm like, good for you. I've never done it. Like, I've never sat and watched my videos, like the whole thing at time. I don't I don't watch I don't watch them at time. I edit on like 2.5 speed usually, but I edit over and over and over and over and over again. Um, let's see. Was there someone in here that did like you? I'm trying to think. There have been, by the way, some people that did get like that have been inappropriate with me. Early on, when I had like less than 500 subscribers, someone found my personal Facebook, which no longer exists for that reason. That didn't like you. No, here that didn't like you. Well, yeah, there's a lot of people that don't like me. Someone found my personal Facebook. Someone found my professional, like, journalism email. Someone found my personal Instagram. 2 of these instances are a different person. Someone found my personal Discord, which I still am like, but now my Discord name, I don't really care anymore because it's different, but it's this is Lars Land, just like my Instagram is. But at the time, it was my, like, last name. Like, and, so there have been some weirdos. What a shame I dropped Facebook because I hate Zuck, and you should. I keep Facebook. Um, I kept that one Facebook for a really long time, but it was mostly because you would not believe that as, like, a journalist, for a really long time, it was an extremely easy way to get a hold of a lot of places, like, because a lot of businesses, they might not even have phones now, but they will have Facebook messages open, which you can get to them quicker than an email. Though I will say most of the time email does okay, but a couple years ago, Facebook was, like, the go-to, and I have found stalked a lot of people, um, just on Facebook. I got TikTok, Insta, and X, and that's all I need. I deleted my Twitter, and I have a TikTok, like, I have an account, but I've never really gotten onto TikTok on purpose. Um, what do the old timers get angry about? Beatles stuff or other stuff? Beatles stuff mostly. I think, some of the old timers get mad at me for, like, the little times when I talk about myself, uh, when I'll, like, insert little humanizing details where I'm like, you know, "I'm a recovering alcoholic, so I understand how John felt when blah, blah, blah." Like, those things, I get complaints about that, which I guess I understand, but I'm also like, "God forbid, this is my land," you know? I get complaints about my roadmaps, like, so after the intro, after memos, that little part of the that little part of the videos where I say, "This is what how it's gonna and this is how we're gonna do that." So it's like, we're gonna do this, 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 and this, sources in the description. That's people get mad at me talking about my process. "How dare you talk about Lars on Lars Land?" I don't know, it's horrible. God, I need to go to sleep. School starts in a week, and I need to start waking up at 5 a.m. every day. 5 a.m.? Fuck school. No, I'm just kidding. Stay in school, it's important. You ever watch Luna Reviews? He does Beatle stuff too. This is the same banner that needs to go across. I do not watch Beatle creators or listen to Beatle podcasts. As far as me, I watch occasionally Abby's stuff because I like Abby and will support Abby. I've watched half of one of Fathom Fridays, Vinyl Fridays um video just once just to see, but we don't watch each other's videos. Nancy and I don't watch each other's videos just because of too much saturation. Um and I do this on purpose. I generally do not know who almost all these people are. Like one time I was in a group chat, um, just like it was like last week, but I've since left the group chat. Not no bad blood. It was just I thought I'm learning too much about certain things and I can't keep my objectivity by staying in this chat. So everybody knew that it was not a big deal. But like it was in the middle of this chat and the anthology stuff was getting leaked, and it was like so and so said this. Like so and so said this, so and so said this. And I was like, "I don't know who any of these people are." And they're like, "Oh, so and so commentator." Like, I have no idea who these people are. But I am friends with Abby and I'm friends with Nancy, and that's like what I feel is older people don't like young people knowing stuff that is not of their era. Yeah, I think the thing that really makes people angry is that if I come in and I have an aggressive attitude. Like I come in with a really aggressive air and I think I'm off-putting. Like I know these things about me. I'm loud. I take up a lot of space, like both physically and like spiritually. So I don't really shy away from that. So I'm aggressive and I think that that bothers people. So um I'll come in like pretty strong and I think it's off-putting to see someone who's young and it maybe seems like, oh, this young person really thinks they know everything about this subject that they weren't alive for. And I've been into the Beatles since I was, 12, and this person is like 4 in comparison, and how, kind of like you couldn't possibly know because look at, you're really coming in pretty strong for being 4, and I get it, it's still annoying because I'm like, I think it's pretty obvious. I think it's obvious that I work really hard to know what I'm talking about. And if it's remember one guy just saying he didn't like Lars knowing more than him. I do remember that. um I I think people I don't think this. I know this. People think that I think I am, and when I say people, it's like a handful. Like it's not like some big group. Um like a couple of people have thought that I think I am the best biggest Beatles fan. Um no. I am the best biggest Al Brodak's Yellow Submarine project fan. Like if I had to pick something, like that's if it wouldn't be anything that if there was like a I'm a number 1 of anything, it's nothing that has to do with anything in in this era. Like I don't know what I'm talking about. So I don't know. I don't watch, and I think one person that I will always be mad at this one person, and I wish I fucking knew this person's name because at this point I would just name him. But like, and he annoyed me because he like negged me. He would say like, "Your work is wonderful and that's why I'm here, but you're but you're so emotional and your emotions cloud your judgment." And this is how I'm putting this emphasis on stuff. I have no idea how he meant this. He was probably saying it very patronizing, like, "But your emotions do cloud your judgment." Oh my god. Oh my god. Nathan, thank you so much. Sorry if there's any Nathans in the chat. I know you would never, but Nathan, thank you for telling me. So, like, he would say, like, "You need to watch something from Pop Goes the '60s," and, because it was my George and Paul video. Like, "You need to watch something from Pop Goes the '60s because of something, something, like, directly contradicts what you were saying here." And I was like, "Well, I'm not. Like, I'm not going to because I once again, like, I don't know how often I have to say this, which is, like, the 5th or 6th time I've said it in chat, but this is not prompted this time. I don't watch other Beatles creators. I stay in my own lane. I was a journalist first, and I try not to let any other people's opinions influence me, and one of the most fun things about doing this is the research and learning, and I like to learn this stuff on my own, and that's why I do it like this. And honestly, it's worked because all I've done is gotten more insane and I think better. I think every video I do generally is better than the one before. Not the anthology 2025 video. Everybody knows it sucks. Okay. It doesn't actually count as a video. Like that was just yapping. But like, generally, my videos get better each time. And generally, they're the work is better, the writing is generally better, and it's because of the way that I do this. And anyone I don't let anyone's keep my blinders on so I can do this in a way that I feel good about, that I think that I'm being as objective as I possibly can, and the subjectivity is coming from me, not anyone else's opinions or input, okay? So I don't want to come in with a an opinion from someone else that I picked up somehow, and that's why I don't do that. And also, like, I desperately need my YouTube watching time to be, like, something that I'm having fun with. So, like, that's what I'm doing. So that's one of those things. But this person got real it was like, "You like, you said that you won't watch this." I could probably pull up these screenshots. I bet I have them in Sky's chat. "You're fine, Sky. Good night." Let me see if I can find this. Give me a sec. Chat amongst thyselves, children. Give me a sec. But anyway, yeah, how can your emotions um not cloud your judgment? And like one thing you're never going to get me to apologize for or be like, "Oh, I'm going to stop being." No, I'm never going to stop crying, I'll stop crying when I stop thinking like Sinead O'Connor's amazing. It's just not going to happen. Too late. I don't know what I'm looking for these screenshots, but I did find this. This is a monkey hugging a robot. So that's cool. I wonder what Lars and their friends talk about. Okay, let's see here. I almost guarantee I have it in here because I hated this guy so much. I got so salty. I'm still salty. I will be salty until I die, apparently. I don't know if I'll ever grow up. Like, it's hard because, like, and people who have never done YouTube or anything like that, who's up first? Jen and their fan. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, Brian. I think like I think people will really encourage like, hey, try not to try not to pay attention to the comments. Like, and it's never with like a bad intention. It's always very much like, "You're awesome. Try not to give too much thought to the comments, like, they suck." You know what I mean? And it's talking about the shitty comments because it's like, first off, the nice comments are so nice, like, and they mean so much that it's like, I have to pay attention to all of them or else I'll never get the good ones, you know? But, let's see here. Uh, oh my God, there's no way I didn't send this. There's no way I didn't send it in here. Oh yeah, this is when everybody got mad at me. Okay, so I don't see it, which is crazy. This must have been during our Instagram chat era because this person really pissed me off, and there's no way I didn't send it to Sky. You end up with the stuff public figures have to go through with good and bad. Yeah, and I'm definitely, I'm very much grateful that I'm like on the small side of things right now because it's still just very manageable. But there's a point where I know, like, Abby doesn't really even look at comments because she uploads a video and she does, a weekly video and sometimes two. And so she uploads a video and then she's like, see ya. Like, she might see a couple comments and then she has to go on to the next one. It's like too fast. And I know that there will be a point because the channel is still growing. So it is growing faster than before. So there will be a point when I won't even really get to look. Can I bump the yellow submarine comment? Hell yeah, I don't care. Let's see here. Let me look. See if I can find it. Oh no. I guess I don't have it. Abby's videos are like really so well done and pretty and nice. Like, Abby's videos are like, if only I could ever, like, be that. But nope. Abby is such a great writer. Let's see here. Holy shit. When you're like, wow, my friends and we spend too much time talking. My friends and I spend too much time talking. Are you talking about Vinyl Monday person? Abby? Abigail DeVoe? Yeah. That's Vinyl Monday, right? Like, that's one of her things. She does several things. She does all kinds of shit. Let me see. Come on. Let me find it so I can be a proper bitch. We went through this phase. My best friend Spence and I went through this phase where we were like really into this one reality show called Polyfam. It's about this polyamorous family, and it was fucked up. Not because of the polyamory, which I'm monogamous, so I'm like, good for you. You guys are different than I am. We're different people. Where did you get the Jeremy knitted top for the YS screenshot? That the sweater I got from a local store in 2015. Let's see. And I just had it. But we went through apparently a very long phase talking about it, like screenshotting all kind. We were saying a lot of stuff about this. Like, oh my God, so much more than should be acceptable. I think that this was our entire personality for like a minute. And then here's a picture of my forehead burn. Oh, and here's a picture of her face burn. We were having a bad time. Anyway, I can't find the comment, but this person got really mad at me for saying essentially that I wasn't going to watch this Pop Goes the 60s. And I have seen a Pop Goes the 60s video before, but like, it wasn't something I sought out on purpose. And I don't do it on purpose, but they were like, this thing directly contradicts what you were talking about at XYZ, which is impossible because it was an opinion aspect of the George and Paul thing. And I'm like, well, no, like, and it was like, well, you say that you won't look at other creator stuff, which is convenient because then you like skirt criticism. And I'm like, no, this is not how this works. I'm not a scholar, so I don't need, and I can find all of my research from direct first sources. That person lives rent free in my head, and someday I will grow out of that person, but still very angry at that bitch, that dude. And I need to give him a name so I can, like, you know, I don't know, throw a dart at it or something. Okay, let's see. It's great when you cry too, by the way, Lars. Let's see. Okay. I heard Nina Hartley talk about polygamy before. She basically said she liked it until she didn't. I don't get it. I just couldn't. I'm very obsessed with the person I married, like in a normal way, I think. And they're on their way home now. So whenever he gets home, I'm going to hop off. But like, there's no person in the world I like talking to more than him. And I like hearing all about his weird little thing that he's into. Like he's just like a really interesting person that gets really interested in interesting things. And there's nothing better in the world than seeing when he gets excited about something new that he wants to tell me all about. And it's like, it's amazing. And I don't understand. I feel like needing to share or something is almost inherently hurtful. Lars is just my name. Lars doesn't stand for anything. It's my name. Let's see here. When did he say he was coming home? 11:51. Okay, cool. Yeah, Lars doesn't stand for anything. It is just merely my name. But yeah, I don't know. It's not always that interesting, but here we are, you know. I don't know. I'll tell the Brian story later because my voice is starting to hurt. So if I sit here and read, it's going to hurt very badly. Oy. So let's see. Yeah, Abby's video style is really good. It's great when you cry too, by the way. Oh, I know. Yellow Submarine Deep Dive, classic upload. I love my Yellow Sub videos. I'm very proud of them. I'm very proud of my Yellow Sub videos and my Concert for Bangladesh video and my Lost video. And I'm obviously proud of my White Album video. That's not even a question. How can the emotions not cloud your judgment? The story of our lads is so incredible. It almost seems mythical, but it isn't. It's a human story of four very interesting guys in a band doing their best. And I know that's exactly it. Where it's like, I don't know, it would be very sad to not get emotional. And I just think if you don't want someone who's emotional, then you really should, like, you're really like barking up the wrong tree, man. Like, no one is more emotional than I am. Like, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, why would you be here then? You know? It would just be a weird choice. It would be a weird choice. I like You Can't Unhear This in Music Box USA. That's cool. I think I've seen Music Box USA. I don't know You Can't Unhear This. Let's see here. I'm not allowed to cry or be really into what you are. Unfortunately, I'm around a very conservative family. I have a very conservative family as well. The Beatles saved my life, period. That's awesome. Music is powerful, and the Beatles are powerful, like, in things that you are passionate about and like get involved in and let yourself be swept up in. Like, those things are powerful and like can really impact people in like a really positive way. Hang on. Sorry, guys. I will say the meanest, worst, rudest, cruelest comment that I ever got was on the domestic violence video. And it was this. Used to be an alcoholic, got sober at 19. Yeah, you weren't an alcoholic, hun. That's called just being a kid. Unless you need a benzo to not die from withdrawal, you ain't an alcoholic. Yes, I did get sober at 19. So my response to that was, quote, this is from an AA speech. I had people tell me to come back when I'd experienced real pain. Old timers would tell me, you haven't even been around the block. Would you go to a cancer ward and tell someone, I got closer to dying than you? Wouldn't that be cruel? How old do you have to be to die of this disease? And I said, I had delirium tremors, which is the shakes. My withdrawal was monitored medically. I didn't share my story in this video because it's none of your business. If you diminish someone's addiction due to their age and send them back out, if you diminish someone's addiction due to their age and send them back out of the rooms, which is AA or 12-step program, and they die from it, that's on you. I think that is like the cruelest fucking meanest thing. I was like actively, it was so bad. That person is top nug 7626. And rather than hiding that comment, I let that comment stay up and let everyone that I told about it go and shit on that person. I was like, go. Like, just yell. And like my partner went, Angel went, like everybody was like, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. And I was like, go, just yell. I wouldn't usually do that, but I was just like, fuck you. I got real mad. Okay. Look at this picture of John. Oh, that's not a picture of, well, that is a picture of John. Look at that. What is going on, bud? Having a bad hair day, I suppose. Jesus Christ. What is this? I don't know what this is. Look at that. That is that's not for me. That is so tiny. Good God. John Lennon arriving at Paul McCartney's Cavendish Avenue home. A candid fan photo. Look at him. Look at the baby John. Dressed like a lesbian wedding officiant. Yeah, that's worse than deleting it. Exactly. I was like, go. I was like, let's, this is going to be the time that I will tell you to go. Like, I would usually just like hide it. Or if someone was mean enough, I'll hide them from commenting. Like, see ya, because you can't actually block someone on YouTube, like from seeing your channel, but you can hide them from commenting on your channel. So like, and I don't do it very often. I don't have to do it very often, but if someone like it's a continued behavior, like you have to be a repeat offender to get hidden. And I only started doing it a couple of videos ago, frankly, where I was just like, you know what? I'm done with you guys. And it was just stuff like that. But what was I gonna say? But like that one I was like, let's fucking go. Just fucking eat this person alive. Reminds me of when I read Goldmine magazine. I had some of it with a magnifying glass because the type was so small. Yeah, no kidding. You have to be part of the alcoholic hierarchy. I'm a recovering alcoholic. I'm always falling off. Oh, that's okay. Just do your best. Take care of yourself the best you can. I'm not saying like that's okay. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Okay, let's see here. John Lettuce, mine is man tiny. Seriously, fancy female mouse for $5.99. I think that John Pick was after him and Yoko sold it. Well, that one was taken by May Pang, so it has to be. All my grandparents drank heavily. I feel lucky I didn't get affected. I get that affected genetically. Yeah. my partner has like a really heavy history of alcoholism on one side of his family and just is the most like normal drinker. There's beer that has sat in our fucking fridge for months. Like I'm assuming, I don't know. I don't know if beer goes bad, but I'm assuming if you were like a bougie beer drinker, you would probably think some of the shit that we have in our fridge goes bad. But I've been sober so long that it's not a problem for me to be around beer. That being said, one time someone gave my partner like little airplane alcohol bottles of fire, whatever it's called. And I was like, I don't want those here. And he got rid of them because I was a hard liquor drinker. Fireball, is that what it's called? But I was a SoCo and Sprite Zero drinker. That was like but I was 19, so it was kind of like, I mean, if I don't get booze, I'm going to drink NyQuil or whatever, mouthwash or whatever I could get. One time my mom, this is crazy, and I can share this because I have permission to talk about my mom like this. My mom, who got sober 11 months before I did, and without her, I would not be sober. When she was supposed to be getting sober, she was staying over at a friend's house overnight because nobody could like trust her to be alone. She drank fucking rubbing alcohol. I'm like, why, what? Ugh. Rubbing alcohol. Good Lord. That little lady, and she's tiny, by the way. She's like 5'6" and little, like a little person, little tiny person. Derek, I'm so sorry to hear that. Mark, I never tasted beer and I'm 61. I'm sure you'll be fine without it. There's all kinds of great tasting things. My dad's a heavy smoker, but that's all. One time I put hot sauce in his cigarette when I was 8 or 9 years old to try to get him to quit. Nowadays, I could care less at this point. He's doing fine. That is hilarious, though. You're like, how's it taste? Hi, Jack. I think Jack's telling me that it's time to get off, and he's probably correct. I always believed everyone is an addict of something, and you are correct, Derek. Everybody has something, whether or not it falls under addiction. There's always something that a crutch or a coping mechanism that no one is perfectly balanced, healthy, and there will always have some sort of thing to get you through, whether or not it's healthy or unhealthy or, a substance. It doesn't have to be a substance. Please do not knock over my makeup. As far as beer, I know with IPAs, once you go past 2 months from the canning date, it can get skunky, in my opinion. We probably have some skunky beer in our fridge. I have nothing to do with it. All I know is sometimes I get a little annoyed when I see these like really colorful looking cans and I have no Diet Mountain Dew. I'm like, well, what the fuck? Where are my colorful looking cans? Go get me some Diet Mountain Dew. And when I'm saying what the fuck, go get me some, I'm talking to myself. I never got into drinking or smoking or drugs, and that's because Chris McGovern is their own drug. Gen X Muse podcast on Spotify. The Gen X Muse podcast on Spotify. Go follow Chris. Give them a whatever 5-star rating. I know that that's what it is on Apple Podcasts. I don't know what you rate on Spotify. Give them the best you can and go listen to the Gen X Muse podcast on Spotify. Lars, thank you for your time and your vids. Sorry I got angry earlier. You're okay. Mark, I'm always angry. I'm always pissed. You're fine. Like, seriously, you're fine. Like, I don't even remember what it was about. It's 5 there too. Okay, yeah. So 5 stars for the Gen X Muse podcast on Spotify. Because Abby's been on there. Nancy's been on there. I've been on there. Other people have been on there. Chris is really smart and knows so much about the Beatles that like, oh my God. Love you guys, all of you guys. I hope I don't turn out to use any of those bad things, no matter how hard it gets. I think I can do it. Life is great as it is. Brian, you are so smart and so strong. And, when you're older, like, there's, the difference between hiding against some sort of substance. Hi, Jackie. Don't hide yourself behind a substance. Allow yourself to feel things. Um, and never let someone dull your shine or make you feel less than. And I think that is the thing to keep in mind. If someone makes you feel like you need to hide or that you need to like be better or do better, like in like a, oh my God, it's me, I'm bad way, that's when you just say, kick rocks, bitch. Kick rocks. It's not a Joe Heller script. I don't fucking care. Blah, blah, blah. Throw some weird Beatles reference at them and say, Lars Land told me to tell you to kick rocks. How do I get one of these crowns? I want to be a Lars Land super fan. I think you just have to chat the most. Yeah, I think you just have to like comment a lot. Just a little baby boy. He's saying, hey, guess what? I'm awake, and that means you got to party with me. So we recently, okay, I'm going to say a couple more things because we're still chatting. So I recently got into putting like bird feeders out on our little porch, and Jack and Prince, my big fat cat that nobody's ever seen, they love watching the birds. And Jack is just a snuggly. Do not flash the camera. We don't need to be showing them all that. Be modest. What you doing? He's not happy right now, but he's like, oh, I love attention. I love attention so much. My family never really wanted me to be in a relationship because I'm special needs and unstable. Well, I'm also unstable, and yet I've been married for 9 years. And your family can also kick rocks. But I'm not saying that you should get away from your support system if you need a support system or your higher support needs. I hope that Derek, in spite of having higher support needs, that's totally okay. And I hope that you find a way that you are in a, whoa, you okay? That you find a place where you are able to be accepted and that you are in a situation where you're able to cry, not be made fun of or put in a bad place, because you deserve to be like in a safe, happy place. But please take care of yourself as best you can. Okay. Tuna or Friskies? We are a Purina One household right now. And that is not because I would feed my cats so much variety, and I've tried, but Nails, my middle cat, is real picky. So we have to like, Jack is trying really hard to get me demonetized. Oh, hey, it's Lexicon Matt, FXL Lexicon Matt. My cat also moons me when he's looking for a spot to rest. I can relate. Opinion, I love dogs. Opinion on dogs, love dogs. Hang on. Okay, so my brother and my mom live together because you're not the only one who has high needs. My family is very close and they own a business together and they live together, but they also have 3 dogs, and they're 3 black labs, and one of them was raised by me as a puppy. So that's this guy right here. That's Wiley. And he is, believe it or not, look at this beautiful young man. He's 14. Look at that beautiful young man. Barely looks a day over 8. Look at that boy. Isn't he cute? Okay. And then here is Beanie, little Beanie. Okay. And here is Bonzi. So Beanie and Bonzi. Now I do not recommend going to breeders. Okay. I think you should adopt, but I was not a part of this decision. Beanie and Bonzi are from the same parents, 2 different litters. So they got Bonzi, like pandemic puppy. He was planned though. He was a planned pandemic puppy. Okay, that's Bonzi. He weighs 120 pounds. Beanie, they found out that their parents were doing one more litter. So they got Beanie 2 years later. This is Beanie. She is 40 pounds. Look at that. Are you kidding me? What the hell? How did that happen? How did that happen? So Wiley is named after Marcellus Wiley, football player, but he is also called Buggy. So it's like Buggy, Beanie, and in Bonzi. But let's see. I love dogs. I love pretty much all animals. I have fish, and I love my fish very much. I've had reptiles before, but not like as an adult. My buddy's dad has a husky named Ringo. Oh, that's so cute. So I've got 3 cats. Jack, obviously, Prince, who's the oldest, and when he was a kitten, he smacked Wiley, that young, beautiful man of 14, in the nose and made and made Wiley bleed, and Wiley was, because that was our first cat that wasn't declawed because, I mean, like, old school, because Prince is 12 now, or 11 now. And Wiley did not know what to do with that and was very upset and very scared of this tiny kitten for a while. And then we have Nails, who is our middle cat, but they're about, I don't know, somewhere between 4 and 6 months apart, because Prince was a kitten that was like a rescue, not a rescue. It's like a surrender from a friend, but like we didn't realize how bad the situation was until we got him. And then Nails, like when I moved in with my partner, it was very obvious that Prince was not doing well as like a single cat. Like he was getting really aggressive. And so he just needed a buddy. And so we brought home Nails, and Nails was like this little kitten, and we were like, "Oh, he's a little kitty." He's like 4 or 5 months old, and Prince is, like already full grown, and then Prince just kept growing. So we don't really know how old Prince really was. Let's see, Not Guilty. A favorite. I like both versions, Beetle 1 and the 79 version. I like Not Guilty. Some cats need company. Yeah, Prince is always like, whenever I come home from any house with other animals, he always kind of looks at me like, Tax, are you bringing me friends? like he just wants more friends. He wants more people around. He likes people. He just likes to vibe. He also really likes loud music. My partner listens to like a lot of hardcore and metal, and oh my god, all kinds of like doom metal, I mean, just the whole gamut. And he made for years like a lot of horror, like horrorcore synth music. It was insane. And the louder the music was, the more he would just sleep like, oh. And if we turn the music down, he gets like, he's okay with the Beatles, but he would like something a little heavier. He would prefer some Metallica, I'm not gonna lie. I've got a pit bull named Kobe, very lovely. Pit bulls are, I know that they get a bad rap, the cuddliest, most obnoxiously cuddly pets of all time. Oh my god. If you need a modicum of personal space, don't get a pit bull, because a pit bull is going to sit on your lap and behind you while eating your face. Like, not in a bad way. Just like like pit bulls, you have to walk them like 8 times a day because they have so much energy and they love you so much, and they need you. They need you. They need you. They need you. They got to cuddle. They got to cuddle. They got to cuddle. Man, oh my god. They're like the most obsessive loving dogs of all times. They are like, I mean, they are just like, and they're it's like the most obsessive, clingy, lovey thing, but of all muscle, all muscle. And they might look, even if they're like, oh, that one looks small. No, they've got a way. And they're all very sweet, but they're all very insane. It looks like Paul's album is coming out in 2026. I need a cat. It's been a while. Instead, we have a big French dog named Tina. Oh, Tina. I like the name. Always get a rescue cat. Yes, my boys, Jack came from the Humane Society. Nails was from like a PetSmart, but they were just hosting from a local pound. We don't really know where he came from or like his little story, but he's a little guy. Jack, we got like literally within like a couple of days of him being a bit able. He was a little raggedy bitch. He looked so. Do you guys want to see a picture of like baby Jack? Because too late. I'm gonna show you a picture of baby Jack. It's my oldest photo in my camera roll. Scroll. Okay. Ew. Here's baby Prince. He was an unfortunate, like, this was when he was like 5, 6 months old. Just a weird looking kitten. Like, what's up? What happened? Are you good? Okay, anyway. Here is, oh, Here's baby Jack. Look at the baby Jack. Look at that guy. His eyes were green when he was a little guy. Look at baby Jack. Yes, I know that I could share my screen with you guys, but I'm not doing that. Oh, look at the baby Jack. Look at baby Jack. Oh, he's like, are you talking? Okay, this is my favorite baby Jack picture. Everybody freak out. Freak out. All of you freak out. Oh my God. Look at his little paws. What am I supposed to do with that? I have this amazing knowledge of look at those paws. Look at those paws, Jack. And he's like, my eyes used to be green. I know, they're weird. Let's see. He also has always been kind of like this little shoulder cat type deal. He's always been kind of like that. It's always been a little cuddly dude. Here's him next to Prince as a little baby. Oh my God. Oh my God. Prince has lost weight since then, but Prince is my fat cat, and he has been on a diet for a really long time, and it's never really worked that well, but there's Prince. He does not like being picked up. Nails is in my White Album video at the very end when I pick, like, in that last little bit, when I'm like, well, I think I have it done. I just don't know how I'm going to do this. Don't know how I'm going to do this and be honest. I think this is going to beat the honesty out of me. Yes, I have it memorized, but that was Nails. I have a screenshot of Ringo. No more fan mail. Here's a picture of Teddy Golden Doodle, who passed away 2 years ago, and Wiley, that lovely man of 14. He is trying to get my attention. He's saying, get off the phone. And I'm saying, not yet. Why? I'm looking to see if there are any other extremely adorable photos. And there are so many. There's so many good photos of him, my little baby. Well, I should probably listen to him, shouldn't I? He really likes to sit on the armrest. He likes to sit close. He likes to cuddle. He's a very cuddly little boy. The others are not as much. But I mean, well, Nails is very cuddly, but like in bed, like he likes to come up and lay on me, and I have like chronic pain issues. I have like a autoimmune condition, and he's like, "Oh, is your hip hurting? I'm going to lay like in a specific way that's going to inflame it more." But hey, I'm really cute. Okay. All right, I'm warning you guys with peace and love. I've got to go deal with this cat. I love you guys so much. Thanks for chatting. This was very fun. Thanks for letting me like scroll on my phone and just do nothing. This was actually really fun and very nice because I was in a shitty mood earlier and I just kind of needed it. So this was actually really, really nice. We should do a late night one. Oh, Stuck on Wax, you came in right when I'm leaving. Oh no. That's okay. That's big dog energy. Coming in late to say bye. I'm so sorry, Stuck on Wax. No, we should do another like late chat like this, just like vibing. I love you guys so much. Okay. All right. I will see you guys later. Goodbye. Goodbye.